This is a Tesla Model 3. Today we're going to show you how much it really costs and why you should consider buying one. Let's get into it. This is a 2022 base Model 3. You have the choice between the base, performance, and long-range models, but it's December 2022, you can't get the long-range because the wait list is really long. If you opt for the performance model, you're going to pay quite a bit more, but you're going to get things like performance brakes and a carbon fiber spoiler. The Model 3 has an average rating of 8.4 out of 10 from 3 popular rating companies. All right, come take a look at the outside. All right, now we have 5 color options, with this being the Midnight Silver Metallic, and then we have black trim actually, which Tesla recently changed from chrome to black. And then we have these Aero wheels, which honestly, I'm not really a fan of. All right, now usually at this point we would go and show the engine, but electric cars, they don't have that. So in its place, we have the frunk. Now the base Model 3 has a range of about 272 miles and then a 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds. All right, now the performance model will improve these stats quite a bit. Well, now let's go check out the interior. All right, on the inside, we have this black leather seating. We have this big tablet-like screen. We have this wood-looking trim, wireless charging. This little thing slides open for storage space. Couple good cup holders. More storage space in here. We have this leather steering wheel that you just basically use these 2 knobs that are on the sides of the steering wheel to control everything. And of course, on the screen, we get things like games. You can connect your music. You can take calls. You get a big map, which is nice. You can see where the car is driving. I mean, there's so many things you can see on this. And another thing that's interesting about this, there's no stick shift. This is your drive call. And then, of course, the stick on the left side of the steering wheel is just used for turn signals and a few other things on there. All right, now let's go to the back. All right, now in the back seats, I'm gonna be honest, we don't get too much space back here. I mean, there's enough for 2 normal sized people. So we get these little AC vents back here, get this little pull down center console, has a couple cup holders in it as well. But other than that, it is pretty plain and civil back here. Another cool thing about the Model 3 is how much space you get between the trunk and the frunk. Actually 23 cubic feet, which is more than a typical full-size sedan. Now driving this thing on the road, it's totally different than driving a normal car. The first thing being the regenerative braking. When you're not on the accelerator, the car is braking itself, which is pretty easy to get used to, but it definitely throws you off when you first get in the car. Other than that, it feels pretty smooth. There's not a lot of noise coming from the outside. Of course, the acceleration part of it is very fun. Having this huge screen in front, I think it's a plus. I like when you get to see your car going down the road and you know what's around you. And I just wanted to actually show you how easy it is to charge this thing. This is my first time charging one of these cars. Basically, all I did was just back up into one of these spots. There was an option on my screen that said to open the charge port. I clicked that on the screen. I came back. This was already open. I just grabbed the charger from right here and I just came and plugged it in, and that's literally it. And it shows you on the screen how much time you have left for the full charge. Also how charged it actually is. So can you afford it?
As of January 20th, 2023, the new base Model 3s have a starting MSRP plus fees of about $45,400. Until at least March 2023, you can qualify for a $7,500 tax credit with certain configurations, but this is not included in our calculations. With a typical 10% down payment and a 72-month loan, this gives us a monthly payment of around $700. Insurance is about $180 a month on average, and since online sources vary a lot in terms of average maintenance cost, let's assume a cost based on the average car, which is $110 a month.
All right, this also might not be realistic, but let's just go ahead and assume no supercharger use.
So overall, your total monthly cost to own a base Model 3 is at least $990.
Now, of course, it's preferred to put 15% of your income towards car costs, but in this case, let's use 20%.
In this case, you need to make at least $59,400 a year after taxes to be able to afford it.
This number should be considered the absolute minimum for buying a new Model 3.
We don't include fees like registration costs for all we review, and for the Model 3 in particular, supercharger costs are not included.
All right, now let's go to the absolute maximum and say you want all the features like full self-driving and all-wheel drive.
Well, your new monthly cost to own the best Model 3 is about $1,420. And again, putting 20% of your income towards car costs mean you need to make about $85,200 a year.
Again, these figures are rough estimates and the actual cost will vary depending on a lot of factors. Let's talk about some more important finance stuff that you need to know. Does a Model 3 depreciate fast? Surprisingly, no. A new study found that a Model 3 will depreciate only 10% after 3 years, meaning that it will keep 90% of its value after this time. This is really impressive, especially when compared to other EVs. In terms of safety, the Model 3 is also an IIHS top safety pick for 2022. What about reliability? Well, assuming you don't get into huge crashes and you keep it for a long time, your biggest repair cost will likely be the battery. Thankfully, assuming you take care of the battery, it could last anywhere from 300,000 to 500,000 miles. This is often more than the lifespan of any other car in general. You also get a 4-year, 50,000 mile basic and 8-year, 100,000 mile drivetrain warranty, which includes the battery, so that's nice. On the flip side, there is a lot of tech in this car, and any of the components may just randomly stop working. And you can't really take it to any mechanic because a lot of these parts require specialized knowledge to work on them. So how would I go about buying this? Usually it's recommended that you buy a car about 5 years old because by that time it will have depreciated about 50%. But that's not the case with the Model 3. If you can meet these income thresholds and plan on keeping your next car for as long as you can, then buying a Model 3 new is a good option. I'm not sure if it's really worth buying one that's maybe 3 to 5 years old. All right, now overall, between the finance side of this, the reliability, the depreciation, and just so many other cool things about this car, I'm gonna have to give it a score of a 9.1 out of 10 on the Dalton scale. I think this car could be good for anybody, whether you're a single person or you have a family. I mean, it's just good all around. Thanks for watching, subscribe.